This is the real story of how I was kidnapped on my way to Lagos, dragged into a forest deep enough to swallow hope, and how I became the only person who escaped from our captor's den alive. If you were in my shoes, would you survive? My name is Ochanya. I was 24 years old when everything changed. It was a Saturday morning in Ibadan, the kind of morning that looks too peaceful to warn you of anything. I had just finished a short break at home and needed to return to my hostel in Lagos. I arrived at the motor park early. People were shouting destinations, loading luggage, bargaining for prices. The sun was bright, the air warm, and honestly, nothing felt unusual. I boarded a commercial bus heading to Lagos, the kind of bus I had taken countless times. Inside, the passengers were normal people. A middle-aged woman with a baby strapped to her back, two students whispering and laughing quietly, an elderly man wearing glasses and holding a newspaper, a businessman typing aggressively on his laptop, and a quiet young girl hugging her backpack. I sat by the window, scrolling through my phone. I was relaxed, comfortable even. The driver turned on soft music, and as we moved, the bus filled with small conversations and gentle laughter. The mother beside me asked, "First time going to Lagos?" I smiled. "No, I go and come all the time." The businessman joked about Lagos traffic. The elderly man complained about the government. Everyone laughed. Looking back now, I realize how life can change between one heartbeat and the next. 2 hours into the journey, the scenery changed. The buildings reduced, the towns disappeared, and the bushes grew thicker. The road stretched endlessly, silent and empty. Something in me tightened, a small, quiet feeling that something was wrong. The elderly man looked out the window and muttered, "Driver, this place no dey safe. Kidnappers dey operate here sometimes." The driver didn't reply. He simply pressed the accelerator a little harder. My heart shifted. My breathing changed. I didn't know why, but something inside me was whispering, "Be alert." And then it happened. A black SUV suddenly swerved in front of our bus. Before the driver could react, another SUV boxed us in from behind. Gunshots shattered the air. People screamed. The bus jerked to a stop. Armed men poured out from the two vehicles. Their faces were cold, their guns real. "Everybody come down, now!" one of them shouted. There was no time to think, no time to argue, no time to run. They dragged us out of the bus with violence that didn't need explanation. My phone fell from my hand. I tried to pick it, but one of the gunmen smashed it with his boot and pointed his rifle at me. "Move!" We were shoved into the bush, stumbling, crying, shaking. The deeper we walked, the darker it became. The trees closed in around us, swallowing the sunlight. One man tried to run. He didn't make it far. After they dealt with him, nobody else attempted bravery. We walked for hours, and by the time we reached their camp, hope was already leaving our bodies. The camp was hidden in the thickest part of the forest. Old shacks made of wood and rusted zinc, dirty ropes, tires, a smoky fire pit, empty water gallons scattered everywhere. They had done this many times. They tied us, hands behind our backs, feet together. They pushed some of us into one shack and the rest into another. A baby was crying. The mother tried to quieten her as fast as she could, terrified of what they might do if the noise annoyed them. The kidnappers searched our bags, pockets, everything, taking anything valuable they found. Then, one of them made a call. Yes, so we don't get them. 15 people. Yes, we go separate them soon. Every word felt like a knife. Night began to fall. The air grew colder. Fear settled like a heavy blanket over all of us. And that was when I noticed something. While sitting on the floor of the shack, shaking and praying silently, my eyes caught a small movement behind me. A small hole at the bottom of the wooden wall, barely covered by a dirty nylon bag. It was small, very small, but real. The hole led outside the shack into the darkness of the forest. My mind whispered, this could be your way out. But there was a problem. A guard was sitting just meters away from it, leaning on a log, half awake, half drunk, with a gun resting carelessly on his lap. One wrong move, one sound, and I wouldn't survive. The night grew deeper. The kidnappers began joking, laughing loudly, arguing with each other. Bottles clinked, voices rose, someone got slapped. Inside the shack, people quietly cried. Some prayed. Some stared at the floor helplessly. One of the kidnappers shouted outside, "Tomorrow morning we move these ones. Make sure nobody sleep too deep." Tomorrow morning. Those words felt like a death sentence. I knew waiting until morning meant something terrible. We all knew. And then, a miracle disguised as chaos happened. A heated argument broke out among the kidnappers. They shouted, threatened each other. One bottle broke. Another man shoved someone. The guard near the hole turned his head to watch them. Just for 1 second. One tiny second. And I moved. I slid onto my side quietly. My heart was pounding so hard, I thought it would expose me. I dragged myself slowly toward the hole, centimeter by centimeter. No one noticed. No one moved. Not even the passengers. They just watched with wide, hopeless eyes. I reached the hole, removed the nylon gently, and pushed my body through. It was tight. Mud filled my hands. Thorns scratched my skin. But I made it to the other side. The cold forest air hit my face. I was out, but not free. I crawled deeper into the darkness. Every sound felt like danger. Every branch felt like a hand grabbing me. Then I heard it. "Hey, someone is missing!" Torches flickered, footsteps thundered, voices screamed orders. I ran, barefoot, terrified, through mud, roots, and branches tearing at my clothes. There is a kind of fear that pushes your body beyond its limits. That night, I felt it fully. I ran until my lungs burned. I ran until the voices disappeared. I ran until there was nothing left in me but survival. But the forest was huge, endless, silent. Hours passed. My legs shook. My throat was dry. There was no road, no house, no sign of humanity. All I could do was keep moving. And then, at the edge of dawn, I saw it. A narrow footpath, barely visible, but with fresh motorcycle tracks. Someone had used it recently. With every last bit of strength, I followed it, stumbling, crying silently, praying I wouldn't collapse before reaching help. The path widened, the trees began to thin, and suddenly, in the distance, headlights. Real headlights. Cars, moving fast. The expressway. I fell to my knees and waved weakly. A truck screeched to a stop. The driver jumped down immediately. "My God, Madam, what happened to you?" I couldn't speak. I just sobbed. He lifted me gently and put me inside the truck. He drove me straight to the nearest police station. Later that day, the police rescued the others, some injured, all traumatized, but alive. I was the only one who escaped by myself. This is my story. This is how I survived. Not because I was the strongest, not because I was the bravest, but because when a small chance appeared, I grabbed it. In danger, survival sometimes begins with trusting your instincts. If you were in my shoes that night, what would you have done? Thank you for watching African Folktales by Ehi. If you enjoyed this tale, the next story will take you even deeper into the mysteries of Africa. See you in the next story.